In the collapsing shadows of the Third Reich, as Allied forces closed in from the east and west, and the cities of Germany burned under relentless bombardment, whispers began circulating of a secret weapon so powerful, so strange, that it might have altered the course of history had it been completed in time, a weapon that would later be known in conspiracy circles as the Bell or Die Glocke, a mysterious device allegedly hidden deep within underground facilities in occupied territory, guarded by elite SS units, and tied to a web of missing scientists, destroyed documents, and unexplained deaths. According to fragmented post-war testimonies and controversial accounts that surfaced decades later, this device was not a conventional weapon like the V-2 rocket or jet fighters that were already terrifying Allied cities, but something far more experimental and perhaps far more dangerous. Described as a metallic, bell-shaped apparatus several meters high, containing counter-rotating cylinders filled with a strange violet substance codenamed Zerum-525, a substance said to be highly radioactive and lethal to those exposed without protection. And when activated, the machine allegedly emitted intense electrical discharges, luminous glows, and powerful radiation that caused test animals to die, plants to decay, into a gelatinous sludge, and human researchers to suffer seizures, insanity, or death. Some accounts claim the device was intended as an anti-gravity experiment. Others suggested it was connected to advanced propulsion research, zero-point energy, or even time distortion experiments, though no verified scientific documentation has ever confirmed such extraordinary capabilities, leaving historians divided between those who dismiss the entire story as a post-war myth born from Cold War paranoia, and those who argue that fragments of truth may lie buried within classified archives. What adds intrigue to the story is the context of Nazi Germany's desperate final years, when the regime poured enormous resources into so-called Wunderwaffe programs or wonder weapons, in hopes of reversing inevitable defeat, investing in experimental aircraft, advanced rockets, long-range artillery, and unconventional research projects under the supervision of high-ranking SS officials who operated beyond traditional military oversight. And as the war situation deteriorated in 1944 and early 1945, many of these programs were relocated into underground complexes carved into mountains and mines to shield them from Allied bombing. Facilities that became labyrinths of secrecy where forced laborers worked under brutal conditions to assemble machines whose true purposes were often hidden even from those building them. As Allied troops advanced and the collapse of Berlin became imminent, orders were reportedly given to destroy sensitive materials, execute prisoners who had knowledge of classified projects, and evacuate key personnel to prevent capture, leading to the disappearance of countless documents and prototypes. And in this chaos, stories emerged of a large, concrete structure in occupied Poland known as the Henge, a ring-like construction that some researchers later speculated might have been a test rig for suspending and stabilizing a heavy, vibrating device such as the Bell. Deepened when it was revealed that dozens of scientists associated with advanced SS research programs reportedly died under suspicious circumstances near the war's end, officially recorded as victims of execution to maintain secrecy, and when American and Soviet intelligence units raced to seize German technological assets in operations designed to capture scientists and research materials. They secured vast troves of rocket technology and aeronautical designs, but no confirmed evidence of a functioning anti-gravity device, prompting speculation that if the Bell had existed, it was either destroyed, hidden, or transported elsewhere before Allied arrival. Some theorists suggest it may have been moved south toward Bavaria or even evacuated out of Europe through clandestine escape routes used by fleeing officials, while others argue that the entire narrative stems from misinterpretations of conventional nuclear or radiological experiments conducted by German scientists who were indeed exploring advanced physics concepts but were far from achieving science fiction breakthroughs. The legend gained momentum in the late 20th century when writers began connecting the Bell to broader themes of occult symbolism within certain Nazi circles, secret societies, and alleged quests for mystical power, blending documented history with speculative extrapolation. And as public fascination with hidden technologies grew during the Cold War and space race eras, the idea that the regime had been on the brink of revolutionary discoveries became a compelling narrative device, amplified by declassified intelligence. Snippets that hinted at unusual research without confirming fantastical claims. Yet when examining the broader technological landscape of the time, it becomes clear that while German engineers had achieved remarkable progress in rocketry, jet propulsion, and guided missiles, the scientific principles required for gravity manipulation or temporal experimentation remain speculative even today, suggesting that if the bell was real, it was far more likely an advanced radiation or propulsion experiment whose true purpose was misunderstood or exaggerated by later storytellers. Still, the absence of definitive documentation leaves room for enduring mystery, because wars often erase evidence, and secret programs by their nature leave incomplete trails, and so the story persists as a haunting symbol of the unknown possibilities that flickered in the final days of a collapsing regime. A narrative blending genuine historical secrecy with a human tendency to imagine that somewhere in a hidden bunker or sealed archive lies proof of a device that never saw deployment, a weapon that disappeared not in a dramatic battlefield explosion, but into the fog of history itself, its components perhaps dismantled, its blueprints burned, its scientists absorbed into rival superpowers programs, and its legend growing larger with each retelling, standing as a reminder that the end of World War II was not only the fall of armies, but also the dispersal of knowledge, some of it documented and transformative, some of it lost, and some of it possibly never as extraordinary as rumor would have us believe, yet powerful enough as a story to endure for generations as one of the most enigmatic chapters in the saga of secret weapons and vanished technologies.